Hello everyone, it's Sean Creationeer here, and today I want to go over something that is pretty fundamental to YouTube. This is going to be a new series I'm calling YouTube 101, and this is basically a collection of things that are fundamental to YouTube. If you're starting a channel or whatever, these are the things that you're going to need to have in your arsenal. So here in front of me we've got Photoshop, but this can go for anything, and today we're going to go over thumbnails. What makes a good thumbnail? What do you need to do for it? What's the size of it? Things like that. So let's get cracking with that. So first thing we need to do is have a new image, so blank canvas of sorts, and you're going to need to set this to 1280 by 720. Now this is a pretty large picture in the grand scheme of things, so it's pretty big. So there it is. Now what YouTube does is it takes this image as the basis. You know, it's this big, and then it shrinks it down. It's a lot easier to shrink an image than it is to expand an image. Making an image bigger than what it started out as, it distorts the image, and it causes all sorts of chaos basically. So start with the big image, 1280 by 720, and YouTube will take care of the rest. You don't need to make this multiple times to make it bigger or smaller or whatever. It's just this, and it can make with that what it needs to. So all your thumbnails, big and small, this will do it. Now, for my personal preference, I like to put my own identity onto things. So you'll see my Creationeer logo on my thumbnails and things of that nature, and a lot of other YouTubers do exactly the same thing. If you're going to build a brand, then put it on everything. A lot of people don't even do that because they're quite recognizable. You know, PewDiePie, for example, just puts his face on things, and that's it. And a lot of people have just established their own brand identity over the years. So Russian Badge, for example, has got this really cool set of coloured backgrounds that he uses, and that's recognizable. So I've got my my basis for everything. Frame PSD contains all of my items really, and it's really easy to get around. So we've got the Vector Smart Object here, which is the logo, and I can recolor that, do whatever I need to do. I've got backgrounds, I've got all sorts of stuff lined up here, so I've got little elements that I can bring in every now and again, and I've even got some raid faces in here as well. So that's all the raid faces and logos for various different games that I play, so they all go in here, and so I can keep them all to one side, and again, whenever I need to bring in a new logo, I can just put it into this folder and instantly just bring it into the next whatever I'm building. And of course we've got the little tagline here as well that we can play around with. But what you're mostly looking to do is grab attention. That's the most important part of the thumbnail process. Grab attention. So you'll see that this is really, if we look at the effects here on the original image, you can see it's a lot dimmer. It's not very saturated, it's not very, it doesn't pop, really. When you're looking at a sea of thumbnails, you want to be able to grab attention sooner rather than later, and basically as soon as somebody sees the picture, you want to grab the attention. So bright colors and higher contrast do work in that fashion. And this is personal preference and things like that, but it's good to do yourself and play with the thumbnail process and just like do brighter colors, do higher contrast, and see if it grabs more attention. If you can see your thumbnail in all your other thumbnails for all your videos and it's like, ooh, that looks actually quite interesting, then you know you're on the right track. Now, the thing that Photoshop is able to do is also to create these images for web. Now, the thing you can do there is export for web, so you can save it as legacy there. And basically what that will allow you to do is to keep all of your quality while also downgrading it to make it quite a small image in terms of disk space. So if your internet connection isn't great, that's really good for optimizing your images to make sure that they keep to the right size, and it's easy for you to upload. And that's about it, really. One tiny bit of advice: when you go to save your item, name it appropriately for the video. It's a little trick that Google tends to understand, that if your thumbnail is named similarly to your video, it's good for SEO. So, little tiny trick, and just give that one a try when you can. But that's basically it. So if you've got any questions or anything like that, do leave a comment down below, and yeah, subscribe if you like it, do all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.